bees?
Yeah, I'm videoing them drinking water
Oh,
because you can watch their abdomens get more distended as they do. It's interesting. Then they reach a certain point and they just take off. Move over, she said. We are going to start back in early April of 2022. We had a very dry March that year, and April started out pretty dry as well. So I was concerned about making sure that the bees had a source of drinking water. So we've been putting out little watering stations for our bees. And as you can see, this consists of a lid from some carry-out food and some flat rocks so that they have a place to land without drowning. Some leaves, just because they seem to like their water a little bit flavored. So we have some oak leaves and some maple leaves in there. I don't think that's essential, but it certainly seems to attract the bees. Now, we're not far from the Guadalupe River, so they can fly down to the river, but it's perilous to go that far, and they might drown in the river. Bees need water to survive. They drink it. They use it to thin honey out when it's getting cold and thick. They use it to feed their young, and in the hot summertime, they make their own air conditioners by spreading water across the frames and then fanning their wings to cool down the air. Yeah, the bees are getting some water. Yeah, they are. You see? Yeah, there's one buzzing around us because we're kind of in their way. Yeah, they were thirsty. It's April 24th, and we've had steady rain for the last 3 or 4 days, with more predicted for later today and tomorrow, and the next day. When it's raining and cool, it's in the 50s right now. The bees don't fly a lot, so I've fed them all with some sugar water. Another thing about the rain is that it can wash out the pollen and dilute the nectar in the flowers that the bees are using right now. So even though they're not flying very much, they are flying around to get just water. And I'm not even sure these are my bees. These could be wild bees because my bees do have sugar water right now in all of their colonies. They need it now, not just because of the rain, but also because they're building out comb. And a 1-to-1 nectar ratio, so it's 1 part sugar to 1 part water, is just about right for this time of the year. They don't particularly like clean water. They prefer dirty water. I guess they get minerals in this water that they wouldn't have otherwise. Those are live oak leaves that they're walking around on. Bees are attracted to the water source by their sense of smell. That might be another reason why they tend to prefer muddy, kind of dirty water, because clean water doesn't smell so good to them. Jerry's made a rain barrel, and we use rainwater for watering the plants and keeping the bee water full, or nearly full. Too full, they might drown. Water is pretty important around here, so we do collect rainwater that goes off the roof, the drip line of the roof, and sometimes those buckets of water breed mosquitoes. Here we've got a mosquito on the surface of the water. She might be laying eggs. She might not, but I see lots of mosquito larvae swimming around in some of these rain buckets. With all of our attempts to catch water in buckets, we have to be vigilant against the mosquitoes, and we use mosquito dunks and mosquito bits because they target the mosquito larvae without hurting the bees or the other pollinators. So I put half of a mosquito pellet into the rain barrel, and I sprinkled the mosquito bits here in top of the standing water. Okay, I'm back 3 hours later. All of the little bits have not yet dissolved, but most of the mosquitoes are already dead. There are a few larvae still swimming around, but you can see all of these floaters here already. So one of the advantages of using these bits is that they do kill the mosquito larvae quickly. When you use the dunks, they kill more slowly, but they last for a longer time. And the bees are still harvesting the water here. All right, that girl there on like she's getting pretty full of water. And there she goes. And here we are on Tuesday, the very next day. There's a dwindling supply of water, but the bees are still using it. She takes the water in. And off she goes. Meanwhile, they're ignoring their usual water stash, I think because the water's too clean. It's all nice and clear. Rain barrel water, as opposed to the water that dripped off the roof. Day 3. The water was almost all gone, so I added some rainwater, and the bees are ignoring it. They will fly over, fly around about 8 inches from the water, as you see that one doing, and then, they just take off, except for this one. Good girl. Good girl. Once one bee decides to stop, I bet you there'll be more. They seem to prefer the version that's closer to mud. And her abdomen gets larger and larger and larger. And then she decides, oh, I'm heavy enough. I'm going to take off. She had to decide how she was going to negotiate this large human in her way. I hope this short video gave you some ideas for how to provide a safe watering spot for the bees in your neighborhood, whether or not you happen to be a beekeeper. God bless y'all.